How am I getting so strong after ACL surgery 2 weeks later? Now, before we get into today's video, there's going to be a lot of talking, commentary, showing you some exercises, because it's going to be some of the most beneficial stuff to help increase your range of motion and flexibility and mobility, which is the most important thing for the first 6 weeks. But I need to focus on strength, because we are going to be doing some strengthening exercises that do promote the mobility and flexibility of the knee, quad, hamstring, calf, all that good stuff. But I'm going to ask you a question real quick. If you got ACL surgery or any kind of knee surgery or any other kind of procedure, or if you just even have knee pain, how is your base? Were you athletic and were you training all your life prior to surgery? Okay, if not, did you do all of your PT? Were you doing 8, 6, 8, 10 hours a day of physical therapy every day for the first 2 weeks? Now, some of you might be using different machines if you did have ACL surgery. And I have the Kinect Medical ICE machine and the CPM, Constant Passive Motion machine. Those are the two most beneficial machines that I shared in my other video that can help you the most. Now, not only for this 2-week period going into the next 6 weeks from week 2 to week 6, Mark Pro, okay? I did not address that in that video, but the other video where I showed you what am I doing 1 week later after surgery for the physical therapy exercises, this was a huge part of it, starting on day 10. And now even 2 weeks later, I am using this a lot. And in physical therapy that I did on my other knee, we were using a device like this, but this is a little bit more expensive, using eStim. Super important, because you want to get activation, you want to get that muscle firing. But again, back to that base, are you athletic? How is your genetics? Do you have good genes? Because that can all affect the surgery, right? How is your doctor? Was he a good surgeon? Did you have a good graft? There's so many things that go into this equation, but also, how toxic is your body? Are you drinking alcohol? Did you stop drinking alcohol? Are you eating the right foods? I see so many commercials and infomercials about all these drugs and things that you could take to help better your body, but are you naturally eating right? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking a lot of water? I do this every day, and I'm going to have another video that comes out talking about how am I recovering so quickly 2 weeks. I might even do 3 or 4 weeks after surgery, because I have so much to film and so much to unpack. So I'm recording this video myself. I have Sam, my videographer. We're back on track. We're recording some other videos. But please follow me along in this journey, because this could be applied to almost any body part of exactly how do you recover. You got to take it seriously. So now when I say that 6 to 8 hours, I was using that CPM machine every day, non-negotiable, 2 hours first thing in the morning, either 3 to 5 or 4 to 6 a.m. before I even started my day. Then around noon, then around the evening. Sometimes I would use it for 3 hours in the evening, and I would clock in about 7 hours. One day I got 7.5 hours using that machine, which is insane. So, but how am I getting so strong? Well, I'm following the basics. And going into this video, I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. So first off, I'm using the Mark Pro. I am trying to get activation. Now, my very first few physical therapy workouts, I have my days 1, 2, and 3 for the first few weeks, so that my first month of physical therapy, I was working on at least 6 to 15 minutes of pure activation, getting that quad to flex, getting it to fire. But even after the Mark Pro, what we're trying to do is we want to make sure that knee can lock out. So we want to get that flexibility in the hamstring. And that, my physical therapist, the head physical therapist, told me she wanted me to get that lockout and that full flexion of the knee, getting it to just have that hamstring. Because so many people, they don't regain that mobility. And I thought it was an insane statistic that 90% of people do not follow through with physical therapy or even finish it. What in the world? So if you're experiencing pain, you got to ask yourself, all right, yes, maybe it could have been a bad surgery, maybe it could have been a bad surgery, maybe the sun, earth, moon, and stars didn't all align for you, and I am so sorry. But things can be in your control. How do you react to the situation, not the situation itself? Yes, I had a surgery, I had a bad accident or whatever, so I got to deal with it. I might need a second procedure, all right? You already probably watched that other video where I talked about that. I was doing my 2-week update. What did the surgeon tell me? Watch that video if you haven't already, because we go into depth and talk about I might need a second procedure only to get the best that I can out of my knee. So again, I want to get that lockout. I want to get that full hamstring flexibility. So I'm doing those lockouts. I'm doing extensions. I'm working on getting that muscle to fire. Now, the number one most important exercise for my mobility of the knee is doing this band-assisted stretch, this knee stretch. I'm literally just trying to pull my knee into the chest. So with the CPM, the constant passive motion machine, constant passive motion machine. Those first 10 days, because it only took me 10 days to get 120 degrees. I added 10 degrees a day. That was so important, using a machine 6 hours a day. I've heard of other people doing 3 to 4 15-minute sessions of manually doing it. Maybe it works, but that's how I was able to heal so quickly. So I'm trying to get this band, a stretch band. I'll have the link down in the description, and just loosen up my knee and get it to stretch. And it's so hard, but by day 93, I'm not sure if I'll be able to beat it on this knee, but day 93, I was able to get my, let's see, I'm balancing, right here, boom, heel touching my butt. Not sure if you saw that with the zoom in this camera, filming it myself, but I was able to get that full flexibility, and it took me almost 7 months to get a pistol squat. Now, I'm not as concerned about doing single leg pistol squats anymore because there's a lot of grinding and cracking my knee, and I do have early signs of arthritis, so I've got to pick and choose what exercises I'm going to use going forward to build my best body. Running is more than likely out of the equation. Snowboarding, that's my passion in the winter. I want to keep doing it. So I've got to kind of pick and choose. And even for you, you might have to pick and choose what exercises work best for you. But if you're getting surgery or you haven't gotten surgery, you need to build your base. So before I got my left ACL done, I was training in September, October, November, December, January, February, March. I was training for about 6 months. I had 6 months to get ready for my surgery, and my knee was feeling great in 2023. So that's why the recovery went so great. This one, I tore it, and I had 3 weeks to get ready for surgery. So I was doing a lot of exercises on my left leg to strengthen it, and I knew kind of going into this how bad it could be. So I was really working on strengthening my hips and glutes. So preparing your body for surgery if you haven't got it. Even if you just had a regular old knee injury, this video is for you, because I'm going to finally, I'll probably put the link in the description, skipping to the exercises. We're kind of already starting, so let's just start that right now. But I'm going to give you all of those exercises I did in my first few weeks of physical therapy. I have my first physical therapy appointment next week, which will be week 3, but I already have the foundation from my first surgery, so we're going over that now. So again, using that band, doing that band stretch, super important. You want to get that range of motion in the knee. Of course, I mentioned the Mark Pro, getting that E-stem, getting activation, getting that muscle to fire. Also that full knee lockout, having your heel elevated as much as you can the first month at all times to reduce some of that swelling and inflammation. And then, you know, I'm also using that ice machine only when I'm in pain to reduce inflammation, reduce swelling. All right, next move I'm doing, I'm also doing this little step over. So I'm using ankle weights, and all I am doing here is just stepping up and over, going for about 10 reps. I'll have all the reps and sets linked in the description in case I don't talk about them here, but I'm just trying to do these hurdle steps, all right? You may only be able to step a little bit, but using ankle weights, and if you can't use ankle weights, you might just do body weight, and you're just stepping over. So you're strengthening your hips, you're getting used to this lateral movement, just making these small steps. And if you do enough of them, you can actually feel it. I did 3 sets of 10 each way, so 20, 40, 60 total for 3 rounds, and I was just going back and forth, working to increase my hip flexor strength and also just a little stability and balance. Next, I am doing the 2 up, 1 down, single leg calf raise. Now, if you can't come down on 1 leg, maybe you only do 2, but since I was strong enough, again, the physical therapist will make their assessment, so please talk with your doctor, talk with your orthopedic surgeon, talk with your primary care physician, your physical therapist on what you can do, because my plan is different than your plan. But for me, I was able to press up on 2 legs and negative down on 1 leg to help strengthen that calf. Now, first PT routine, I did everything on my left leg without doing as much as on my right, but my right was always more dominant since 2017, generally all my life, skating, jumping downstairs, jumping off of a house when I was a kid, motorcycle accidents. I've always had trauma on this right side, but I've also favored it. I've putting more weight on it. It just felt comfortable. I didn't realize till 2022, I was always mountain biking, putting more weight on that right leg. So it just took so much, and then I was finally dealt my hand, and the knee finally collapsed after God knows how many 20 plus years of just torturing it. So what I want to do is I want to strengthen those hips, getting those lateral steps. All right, next exercise. I'm doing these hip up and over. So it's kind of like a flutter kick, hip leg raise. I'm leaning back. You might even do it without weights, but I'm using the 5-pound ankle weight. A little bit more challenging. Pre-surgery, I was trying to use a heavier weight. I couldn't because I didn't have an ACL. So you can check out my pre-surgery exercises, because not having an ACL and having one are two different things, and how you train for it's different. And sometimes certain exercises you can do is all by personal feel and how far you can advance based on your body and based on your base. So I'm just lifting this leg up. I'm using a little 25-pound kettlebell here, lifting my leg up and down. Now you can technically just use one leg, but I like to keep it balanced, so I go left leg up and over, and then right leg up and over. And I go back and forth, going for about 20. I get a good core workout on this, really stimulates the abs, strengthens the hips, but also we're trying to strengthen that surrounding tissue around the knee. So it's not just about the knee and the quad and the hamstring, it's about those stabilizers in the knee, hip, and ankle also getting stronger, which leads me to my next exercise. We are doing the single leg balance lateral kick and the single leg balance kickback at 45 degrees. Both of these I feel in my glutes. I couldn't believe it. My right glute atrophied a little bit. So, you know, it had so much time to get stronger because every time I kept messing up my left knee, having a torn ACL since 2017, 7 years of here and there injuring it, my right leg always just became a little bit more dominant. I'm right-handed, I'm right-legged, I kick with my right leg, I did everything with it, so it just grew larger and it got tighter. So now God's given me an opportunity to get my right leg finally more mobile, increase the flexibility, but also help you. And I am, if you haven't followed me along already, you can tell in every video, I'm very passionate. I love making videos. I love filming content. If I didn't, obviously I still work to pay the bills, but if I didn't have to worry about money, I would just film videos all day, which I'm trying to do regardless because I feel my message can help a lot of people. And if you're watching this video still right now, I feel it can help you better your legs and better your body. Because if we can get through this knee pain journey, I feel like this is a season of Netflix. This is an episode of my life for the next year, recovering. Then I can get back into snowboarding and mountain biking wherever my life takes me, and you can follow along on how to get in the best shape of your life. So, but we're trying to get this knee as strong as possible, and balance and stabilization is something I've always prided myself on. I got into inline skating in my actually 1993 when I first saw my first pair of rollerblades. My family got that. I was begging them, and I got some rollerblades in 94, 4th grade. Oh, I loved it. And I still love inline skating, but I gravitated towards skateboarding as it helps me for snowboarding, safer on my knees. I've done all the sports from motorcycle, road racing, everything except for probably skydiving. But inline skating, I've never tried skiing, but I know how bad it can be for your knees because if you fall and they split apart. Snowboarding, legs are locked in. Check out this video. My legs are locked in. I'm gliding. I'm sliding around the mountains in Austria, having a blast. That's all I look forward to every year is snowboarding. So that's going to be one of my main goals, is just getting better. Nothing's getting in my way. I'm done running. I'm done doing Spartan races because what got me here was only being 6.5 months, technically 6 months post ACL surgery. I'm like, oh, competition, you know, fancy little shiny object. Let me try and go after it to get my name on the board, be the best I can be. Tore my ACL. Shouldn't be back to competition or doing anything crazy, you know, that soon after surgery. So here I am documenting my journey. All right, next move I'm doing, I'm really trying to get, you know, these moves can be intermixed here and there based on how you're feeling, but also I'm doing some terminal knee extensions. This is probably my favorite quad strengthening exercise pre and post surgery, having knee pain. Now, yes, I do love a good reverse lunge. If you have a torn ACL, don't recommend leg extensions on the machine because your bone will probably be shifting apart. And my chiro, my other doctor, always said not to do those. So, and plus I had such strong quads from a lot of skating and mountain biking and running and being a fat kid sprinting and playing soccer that my quads naturally developed well. So I didn't have to do a ton of them. But you don't want to do it with a torn ACL. But after you do strengthen your ACL, and I'll guide you along here, you're not going to do it just yet, but the safest exercise right out of surgery, putting the resistance band on, stepping through it just above your hamstring and flexing and locking out that leg and squeezing and trying to activate your quad. Doing the terminal knee extension. TKEs, super beneficial. Going for sets about 20. I built up to 30. I've built up to 60. I'll do them on the injured leg, good leg, back to the injured leg. But more than likely, I'm going to keep doing equal because my right side's been so dominant. So now I get a chance to bring my left leg up and make it a little bit more balanced. Now for hamstrings, I am doing, and I never even did this exercise before physical therapy, is the band resisted slider hamstring curl. So we're seated on the ground, dropping our foot over a band, curling and flexing. The right leg is so hard, even using a light band, could barely do it, but I want to try and get my heel as close as I can to my butt. Left leg feels like a champ. I could really pull that leg, go through it, feels amazing, feels awesome. easier to do on the left side, so I'm trying to make both of those equal. But that really helps strengthen the hamstring, helps really bring that up, and it's been one of the best things for my hamstrings that I could be doing. Next two moves, we got mini bands. This is gonna be working the glute medius, the side part of the butt, working a little different area. So the first one I did the single leg balanced lateral leg kicks, not so much for the glute on the outside kicking, but more so for the stability. Now I'm using a mini band resisted, and I'm just trying to work those glutes. So now doing a sideline clam is gonna be hard, which I'm not gonna even show you because I can't put any weight on that other knee. So I'm gonna be standing here, just trying to stand with a mini band and doing that kick, working the glute, just trying to work that outside pressure. And so I'm gonna go for about 20 reps. I might even build up to 30 or so. I like doing a lot of high reps of these, and that's why I felt I've been such a great candidate for surgery, because I've loved all these exercises. I love snowboarding, I love skateboarding, I love inline skating, and I love mountain biking. And so you've got to have strong glutes, especially for mountain biking and snowboarding, not only to do the movement, but you're gonna fall, all right? If you fall off your bike, and so many people as they get older, like my mom, she fell and broke her hip. Whole other story, not gonna get into it because she was drinking these Boost shakes, dehydrated. Anyway, fell and broke her hip. But if you have a lot of muscle, I've had older clients in their 80s that have had falls and they never broke anything. Heaven, thank God, you know? Actually, I just had a client, her 93-year-old aunt fell and broke her hip, but she's been so active. Now, I'm not sure if she was doing a lot of strength training, but thank God she was active, because at 93 years old, she got back to it. She was doing her walks and, you know, keeping up with the house that she's been maintaining all her life, and she's a self-sufficient woman, and I think that's awesome. And I say this in every video, I don't know how life is going to be at 90 or 100 or shit, 110 years old, but can I be self-sufficient? I don't want to be at the airport and say, can you lift this up for me? Like, I want to be able to travel and do stuff, which, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be traveling to Austria and Germany. Just barely made the cutoff to be able to travel. My knee might get a little swollen. I don't know how it's going to be sitting for 8 hours. We'll find out. I will keep you updated. But anywho, you want to be self-sufficient. You don't want to be reliant on anyone else. So whether or not you're in shape or out of shape, you need to be in shape. You've got to take care of your health. Now I know there's going to be this Make America Healthy Again, maha. We should ride along with that train, because all of us need to take our health seriously. I think for too long, we've been dependent on pharmaceutical companies and people to tell us what to do. Dude, take control of your health. You know, like, you should move. You know you should exercise, because your health is going to decline. And take it from me. I lost my father earlier this year because he neglected his health, and he had a lot of other issues, and some of those he didn't tell us about. And not going to get into it too much, but that did put a burden on the family. And, you know, him being in and out of the hospital allowed me to spend his last living moments. I got to spend a little bit more time with my dad, but, you know, my dad died at 76. Yeah, that sucks. And could he have lived longer if he would have taken care of himself? Sure, but he didn't want to. Anywho, not going to get into that. So I'm just using that as an example of that. If you're above the age of 76, awesome, because you get to spend a little bit more time with your kids, or you get to live a longer life, and unlike my dad, who didn't take care of himself. So take it from me. I think all these things happen in my life so I can share my journey and my experience, because I want you to live a better life. So sorry, went on a tangent here, but it's so important to strengthen the legs, to strengthen the body, take care of yourself so people don't have to take care of you. And that way you can at least be strong enough to take care of someone else. And lastly, the last exercise we're going to do here is a squat. Or we could do a supine, lying on your back, leg press. I don't have that. I really want to buy this machine for my studio, so I'm going to be using the crap out of it in physical therapy, because doing a horizontal leg press, lying on your back, never use that machine till physical therapy. I think Quantum Fitness and Cybex uses it, so I'm actually trying to get some double doors installed in my studio, because I only have a single door. And I'm not taking apart machines in and out of the studio. So anyway, I want to get that machine in there, because doing a horizontal leg press takes a lot of pressure off of the legs, so you're able to squat. I'll probably have a video here I put up on TikTok or Instagram a while back, but I was doing the horizontal leg press at physical therapy. Awesome. Probably within this third week of PT, I was doing like 120 pounds, super light, 2 legs, and I was doing a single leg, 20 to 60 pounds single leg press. I've always liked single leg exercises and the leg presses, but I haven't done as much squats. But I will do a bodyweight squat, because guess what? You've got to take a number 2 on the toilet, right? You've got to go to the bathroom, so you better get good at squatting. Even if squatting's bad for your knees, because most of the time it's your improper form, your ankle mechanics, your stability. so many other things are wrong. Squatting is the #1 best thing for longevity. And even with my bad knees, that if I can get into a deep squat again, great. It's one of the best exercises for longevity. I can make a whole video on that. So I'm going to be trying body weights, bench squats, bench squatting. So I'm squatting onto a flat bench about 90 degrees or no more than that, because going lower is way too soon. I'm just trying to sit with proper form and mechanics. Now, if I can get this leg press machine, I was in physical therapy day 64 doing leg press jump squats and single leg jump squats on the machine with very light weight. Kind of feels like you're on the moon, you know, jumping. But that's how you're able to work plyometrics safely without having to have a weight loaded on your neck and your spine jumping up and down, because that's more pressure using gravity and resistance, putting pressure on that knee. So horizontal, a lot less pressure on the knees, safer way to exercise. But until then, I'm going to be doing bench squats. I almost forgot 2 of the main stretches we need to be doing. Single leg hamstring stretches or 2-legged hamstring stretches. What I got from a physical therapist trainer forever ago when I was entering my journey was simply not just touching my toes, but getting my opposite hand and reaching across. A lot of us can't do that. So trying to get that hand across and then pull. But if you're having a hard time with this, you could use a little resistance band, which I'll show you, like a stretch band, and you'll just kind of kick your legs up and down doing dynamic. But I haven't been doing that just yet because I don't want to get too much hard movement. So I'm trying to do safe stretches. So I'm not going to include that in there, but I'm just trying to do a hamstring stretch. So when I wrap up my workouts, these are the 2 stretches I'm going to be doing. Stretching my hamstring, just reaching and trying to touch my toes, grab it onto the outside of the foot. Usually I'll be doing a lot of different kinds of movements. I might hold it for 30 seconds, 4 rounds. I might hold it for 5 and then back off 10 rounds. Or I might just kind of dynamic reach back and forth myself, not moving the leg, but moving my body. I want to keep that leg relatively still just for now. We're pretty fresh 2 weeks after surgery. Lastly, prone lying quad hip stretch. This was actually a new one. I never did this before because I was always able to stand and grab my quad or grab my foot and stretch my quad and hip. But lying down, and what I've been doing is you can either use a stretch band and put it around the foot, which is the easiest way, or if you didn't, and maybe you have some weightlifting or weight training equipment, you can actually get a little ankle strap and wrap it around the base of your foot, and then you could throw a little resistance or like a long resistance band through that and pull the foot. But I like to use this little stretch strap, put it and loop it around my foot so it's hanging off the back of my foot, lie down on my stomach, and then just slowly pull the hip and the quad, just stretch. So I'm trying to pull my foot lying down on my stomach, just getting a nice pull through here. And I might hold this for 30 seconds for 4 rounds, and then same thing, 5 to 10 second holds, 8 to 10 rounds, doing something just like that. And then this one can be a little bit harder. I'm not saying I recommend doing it off your bed, but if I have a massage table, or if you're at physical therapy, or if you just buy a massage table, you'll really love using this table to do some stretches, or maybe with your partner, you can do some assisted stretches. But I will lie down on the table and I will do a quad hip stretch. So supine, lying on my back, this is stretch number 3, bonus, and I will pull my base of my foot, and this actually help stretch the hip a little bit more in the quad, because I want to do a couch stretch, which I can't do yet, but I will show you later, or like a half kneeling hip flexor quad stretch. Basically getting in a half lunge position, putting my knee on the ground, stretching my hip and quad. I was able to do that around 3 to 4 months in, because my knee is, you can't put any direct weight on the knee, actually, well, obviously after surgery. So it's going to take some time before you get to some of these other stretches. But these 3 main stretches, the hamstring stretch of any kind, just stretching your hamstrings, especially the surgical leg, doing the quad hip stretch, obviously lying down on my stomach, and then also lying down on my back, pretty much doing the same movement. And then also, when I said at the beginning of the video, locking out that leg, getting some weight, trying to push down on there, getting that leg to lock out and stretch, and then as well as getting that knee to bend, pulling it in close to the body. These are the stretches we've got to do. So, whew, we made it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Really appreciate you being here. It means the world to me that you're following along and watching this videos. Like I said, God gave me a second opportunity to do a better job journaling and documenting my story of my ACL recovery, because, you know, other than losing my dad, this is one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through in my life physically. You know, I didn't take any pain medications getting out of surgery, so it was hard. Well, take that back. Day 1, I needed something. It was really tough. But days 2 and 3, they were the hardest for me because I didn't take any of the pain prescription pills. Not that, you know, I didn't think I was going to get addicted to it, but I just didn't want to use it. I wanted to just, I guess, kind of just get through it. So that was hard. Walking around, being fit, being athletic. Man, I was humbled because I don't know how any of you can do this if you're not athletic. But don't worry, you're going to get through it because so many people have surgery. So many people get hurt. You know, I can't remember when I was going to use this clip, but a guy was sitting here in traffic. I guess I'll use it right now. Sitting there, just in a, you know, like I was in my motorcycle accidents, except this was way worse. And then all of a sudden, boom, car comes through the intersection. Other guy T-bones, smacks into him. Oh man, I think there was a GoFundMe for him, and I think he's doing better. Thank God he's alive, but his whole body, ribs, neck, arms, so many things were broken. So I just had a little ACL tear. And I like to remind myself that no matter how bad I think I have things, or no matter how bad you think you have things in your life, someone has it worse. I'm not trying to say this is a bad thing, but you know, some of us, we can't walk. We might be in a wheelchair. And I'm not saying, you know, that's like a super bad thing. I'm sure it's not great, but I'm just saying if you have the ability to walk and you can move, get yourself in better shape because someone out there wishes they had your legs or had your knees. I wish there's this guy I met in 2018, the speed specialist. Oh God, I can't remember his name right now, but I'll link him here. He's like in his 60s, I think, maybe late 50s, 60s. He was an Olympic sprinter. Winston Whistle. Oh God, I am so sorry. I can't remember his name right now, but speed specialist. Anyways, I met this guy in New York. Dude, this guy can sprint. He can hang with some of the fastest guys in approaching his next decade of his life in his 60s and 70s. And I think that's awesome. So I wish I had great knees, but I screwed them up because I did stupid things. So anywho, I'm going to say this in every video. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Get in the best shape of life. Do everything in your power because you're responsible for your own health, all right? And the situations that happen to your life, it's about how you react, not what happens. Don't think that you just got to be mad at the world and, oh, my life's over and I can't do anything. Well, shit, you know, if something bad happens to you, you've got to figure it out and you got to move on because life is precious. Life is short. We've got to nurture our health, and it's hard to get in that right mindset, but obviously I'm a health and fitness guy and I'm a motivator, and I encourage people to take action and be in the best shape, have positive thoughts, and do anything they can to be unstoppable, be relentless, and take charge of their health. So I'm going to encourage you to do that. I'm also going to encourage you to support others along the way because we're not here alone in life. There's so many people that have helped me through my journey, coaches, trainers, doctors, therapists, so many people that have just made me better. I did not do this alone. And I think if you can have an edge and you can get yourself in better shape and in better health, share that along the way because other people need help. They need that motivation. They need that accountability. And what they need the most is discipline. They need a plan in place to get the best results. And that's what I'm going to do for you here on this channel is lay out the foundation of how to be in the best shape of your life. As a matter of fact, I have a free beginner bodyweight workout plan. I was supposed to release this for a company, I guess I can say that now, and it just didn't work out. Me and a lot of other trainers. Anyways, I might be saying too much. Anyway, I gave it away for free. So something I was going to charge for, and I spent a lot of money, over $5 grand, making this myself. It's free. So if you need to get started working out and exercising with no weights or no equipment, and you haven't worked out, and maybe you're overweight, maybe you have pains, use this free beginner bodyweight plan to help start taking charge of your life to get in the best shape of your life. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you watching. If you don't know who I am, my name is Frank Wall. I'm a certified personal trainer and fitness nutrition coach. And on this channel, as always, I'm going to help you feel, move, and look better through mobility, training, and nutrition. So thank you. God bless us all. And I can't wait to see you checking out the next video.